Thanks for joining us. I'm Justin Bennett. Chieftain takes us to Houston, Texas, where state troopers had closed down the Capitol at this time because of phone calls. So the rally had been canceled. So Chieftain remained in Houston. The year is 2008. Chief Tim is speaking to a gentleman in a wheelchair who raises a question. Let's give it a listen. What are your thoughts on war? Well, my personal opinion, and I'll use an example. I was purchasing some land in Greensburg, Louisiana. It was about 52 miles from Baton Rouge, from a lady named Ora Porter. She did a breach of contract, verbal contract, and kept all my money, and the lawyer and legal assistant, Miss Martin, were in on it and claimed there was never a meeting of agreement to complete this transfer of the title of the land. So being that all my equipment and building supplies for the art complex I was building and my out-of-service vehicle were still on the property, I lost all that. I had to purchase another vehicle from this car dealer on Florida Boulevard in Baton Rouge from a guy named Andre, one of the salesmen on the lot, in order to get my stuff before I lose it, in order to transfer it to a storage before I lose it. Gave him my money, gave Andre my money for the car. He claimed he had to get the title from the auto title office. A week later, I go to the lot and the owner calls the guy and asks him when is he going to complete the transaction or refund my money. Andre couldn't get the lie out fast enough before he stuttered, and so I needed a place to stay till morning, and I was going to return to New Orleans. That's where I played my trumpet. I'm a street musician, and I asked the owner if it was alright to wait in one of his out-of-service vehicles till morning, and I'd be gone. He said it was okay, and said call him if I have any problems. Sure enough, 5 minutes later, the police arrived with his gun pointed at me. The vehicle was old and rusted, so that the door would not open, so I had to climb out of the window. He placed handcuffs on me, and then he set me on the ground. He called for backup, and there was 3 other police officers pulled up and pulled their guns on me. I remember looking up at the colored officer, just stunned. So they all had their guns pointed at my head. I'm on the ground in handcuffs. I believe that if I had sneezed, I wouldn't be here today, because I remember seeing the drool coming out of these officers' mouths. Strange but true. and another officer showed up and told him to let me go. Pulled me up off the ground. He was smaller than the rest of them. And he pulled me up off the ground and took the handcuffs off me. Said, "You can go." The officer took my phone and was trying to call the owner of the property on my phone and used up all my minutes. And he got my phone and gave it to me and said, "You can go." And I certainly did. I left and went down to the bus station and waited for the bus to New Orleans. I guess I had to go back through my mind here. I'm sitting on the ground with handcuffs with 4 police officers and guns pointed at me. I don't know, was I supposed to magically come out of the cuffs and take the guns from these officers and turn them over my knee and spank them? Was that what they were afraid of? And I guess somehow walk across the St. Charles Lake? I don't know. I'm still puzzled to this day. So they had me in handcuffs on the ground. The guy made me scoot up about 20 feet in broken glass. And then after they were finished, they were standing on the side over there, laughing. I don't know what happened to the color cop. He hopped in his cruiser or something, but the guy that helped me, he hopped in his cruiser. I guess he went to go fight crime, but I remember living in Houston, Texas, where I had my other art building, and I had lost everything in Greensburg, Louisiana. Andre, the guy that was selling me the car, skipped town, so I never got the car. But a year prior to this, I was in Houston, Texas, where my other art building was, and I was arrested for returning a car battery. I realized that I was going to need the money later on, so about 20 minutes after the purchase, I went and took the car battery back, and they refused to take it back. They called the police. I told them I was going to call the police, and the police show up, they arrest me, they impound my vehicle. They put me in the county jail. And all I wanted was to get my battery back. I still had the receipt for the brand new battery that they had, and they wanted me to come back the next day. There you have it. It reminds me of the time that I was in Oakland, California, and the officers were beating on my window when I'm sitting in my car drinking my Slurpee and pulling me out of my vehicle and handcuffs me and asked me what I'm doing. Well, I didn't know there was a law against drinking a Slurpee in the car. So the aftermath, Oakland, well, California, really, they had always taken my ideas, and of course, at this time, they didn't want to pay a color guy because they didn't believe a color guy could think this way and deserve to earn his money this way. So they would take my ideas, and not saying all of California, but some of the people that were living there, they soon wanted me out of California because the truth would one day come out. And so I left California, and I took my ideas with me, but my ideas were copywritten at this time, and that's all I could afford to do was copyright my ideas and my blueprints. And all that stuff was on the land there in Greensburg, Louisiana, that the ladies successfully took from me. I guess they thought they were doing a good job for the White House. I guess they took my plans back to California, and strangely enough, they still don't know how to make the speed train work. So I called about a couple of my girlfriends, and I asked them, hypothetically, without telling them who these situations happen to. And strangely enough, they said, that's good, that's what they deserve. They meaning the color man. So you have your girlfriends believing that the color man deserved to be treated this way. As for the other guys, it's just strange and sad. It's sad. So they were bringing this lady in from Louisiana, and she was complaining about how the food tastes, and they weren't treating her right. And me and my homeless buddy, we started laughing as they were putting them in hotels, feeding them for free, and we were like, we want to be treated bad. You know what I mean? You know, some people need help, and some people are just greedy. No. Like, if white people was picking up some of the stuff they was throwing away, okay, it's junk, so they can have it. But if a colored person pick it up, it's called loitering or stealing from them. Now, what's the difference between those two people? It's still junk. They throwing it away, but it becomes a treasure when the color man pick it up. That's what war is good for. Absolutely nothing. You go out and you're fighting. You think your enemies are abroad, but then you come home and people you're living with are taking away your freedom. Parts of the proceeds from this program will go to the National Peacekeepers, who are men and women who don't receive any money for keeping people from being wrongfully done or protecting them, and most likely will not be offered a place of employment. Parts of the proceeds from this program will go to the National Peacekeepers, who are men and women who don't receive any money for keeping people from being wrongfully done or protecting them, and most likely will not be offered a place of employment. So we commemorate them and we make their offerings. We see them on the streets. They're selling their newspapers, but we are selling their incense and having their rallies. But when it comes to protecting people from losing their freedom, they become peacekeepers. Please send $100 to the address listed for a free copy of this program. Thank you.